To work with our new cart, let's go to the controllers folder here and there to the shop.js file, which is where we have our cart related actions. Get products, get product, get index. That is all working. Get cart, however, will not work. In there, I want to use a cart associated with my existing user to get all the products in it and render them to the screen. For this, let's get rid of that code, but I'll comment it out so that I easily can use my render function again. And let's use request user. That's still the user stored in our request. By the way, one important adjustment. Let's disable that force syncing again so that we don't always overwrite any data we stored. So let's go back to to shop.js, excuse me. And let's use the user we retrieve for every new request and which we store in the request. And there, let's execute cart and let's look into this and see if this gives us anything meaningful. If I now save this and I go to cart, it doesn't load the page. And if I go back, we see undefined here. So we can't access the cart like this. But what we can do here is we can use our request user and get the cart which is associated to it. Let's add then and catch. Here we'll get the cart and let's log the cart here. If we save that and I reload this page, it still will not load. But now I get null here and not undefined. Now, the reason why we don't find anything here for either of the two approaches is that we got no cart yet. If we look into our database, carts is totally empty. Just as we create a user right at startup, I'll create a cart for that user. So here I create a user. Now in the next step where I get that user, I will also create a cart by adding user, create cart like this. And I don't need to pass any data in there because a cart in the beginning will not hold any special data. It just needs to be there. I'll then return this and only listen in the next step where I get my cart, so to say. And with this now set up, you see an insert into carts call is done here. If we now have a look into our carts, we see now we got a cart associated to our user with the ID 1. And now, if I try to reload that carts page again, here we now get some output. And this output is stemming from our get cart call here. So from this console log where I do log that cart. So now this is working. Now, for completeness sake, let's also console log request user cart again. Does this also work? If I reload here, this still is the old log, but if I scroll above it, we still see undefined. So this does not work. We can't access cart as a property here, but we can call get cart to work with the cart. So now we got the cart available. We loaded the cart from the database. We know more about that cart here. With the cart available, we can use it to fetch the products that are inside of it by returning cart get products. Remember, a cart is associated to products in our app.js file through belongs to many, and Sequelize will do the magic of looking into cart item and so on. So into this in-between table. So we can get products. This was added by Sequelize as a magic method. And therefore here, in this then block, we'll have products available. And here I'll again just log any error I get. But in the then block here, we should have the products that are in this cart. And that of course means that we can now render these products. So here I will render my products here, store them in products and pass them to the view. Now, this will not work as expected though. If I now reload this page, we see no products in cart. Now, we got no products in the cart, but we'll see that later once we do have them, it'll also not work. But I'll come back to that. For now, let's just have a look at our query statement. We can see that this is the statement executed by Sequelize. And if you didn't see it before, here we can definitely see the advantage we have by using a package like this. We don't have to write that SQL statement on our own. We use Sequelize and let it do that behind the scenes. So before I come back to what we will have to do regarding getting the cart products, let's make sure we can add products to the cart. So for now, I'll get rid of all that logic here, and I will focus on adding products to the cart in the next step.